Good morning, heathens. Good morning, all you heathens. You out there in video land as well. How's it going today? Yeah, we're here on duty. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And I'm just playing with my board here. Not what you're thinking. Not what you're thinking over there out in video land. And just making sure all systems are go. It looks good over here. Everything seems to be working all right. The video's going, I hope. It looks like it is. The audio's going. I have streaming. Got it all together here on 4680Q Radio. Today at noon on Trash Talking Tuesday. That's what we do today. We trash talk, right? Okay, so that's fine. Let's do a little bit of trash talking. What the heck? Now, number one, we have to mention our sponsors. You gotta have the passport. Gotta mention the sponsors, right? Because they're the ones who keep the show going, and we salute them. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Glowstone, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, right? Unbelievable companies. Thank you so much for being our sponsors. Now we look at the weather. What is it? 58 degrees out here again. You freeze your butt off when you get outside, but you know summer's coming. It's going to get better, right? Let's face it, it is going to get better. It has to get better. If not, then I open my pool for nothing. Hey, your car's acting up. If it's not running right, if it's just not happy, take your car to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. He's going to throw it on his diagnostic equipment, and he's going to figure out what's wrong, tune your car up, make sure it's running right, make sure your brakes are okay, change that oil. Pay me now or pay me later. Get that oil changed. At the end of the day, you're going to be a happy camper, and your car's going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy. You go on that summer vacation. You don't break down. How nice is that? The last thing you want to do is have your car break down when you're going on vacation. Let's face it. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, he's going to take care of you. And if you get him in to smash him up, then you take it there as well. He has a full body shop. He's going to recondition your car, make it look like new, get you out the door shiny and new, and you're down the highway. That's right. Anyway, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Ken Hunter, proprietor. Give Ken a call, get down there, and make sure your car is running tip-top. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. He'll be happy. I'll be happy. The car's going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy. Okay, so let's get on to the news now. But just before I came into the studio here, right? Breaking news. Now we've been talking about that dope Hunter Biden for a few weeks here, going to trial and all that. Well, guess what? Hunter Biden was convicted. He is guilty on all three counts of felony counts of regarding the gun, signing the document, lying on the document, falsifying records, and getting a gun. And how ironic is it that his dad and Obama are the two biggest gun control advocates? They want to basically wipe out the Second Amendment and take away everybody's guns, even though it's the illegal guns and people who shouldn't have guns that are causing a problem, not legal gun owners. And now his son is charged with this, having basically what amounts to an illegal firearm because he lied on the form to get it. And, and even wackier about this is that this afternoon at about 1:15 in about an hour and a little bit, Joe Biden's going to give a speech on gun control. And I can't wait to see what goes on with this, because when President Trump got convicted, he got up there and yelled about a convicted felon and that nobody is above the law. This proves nobody is above the law. And he said he's not going to pardon Hunter if he gets convicted. So now, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? He can't pardon him. He said he wouldn't. He's yelling about gun control. His son broke the sacrosanct law of getting an illegal gun, lying on the form. Right? So I mean, this is unbelievable. This is not even questionable, and everything else. And when it's all said and done, this is what happens. This is where it goes. And he's got to eat his words right now after giving Trump this hard time, calling him all kinds of names. Nobody is above the law. Well, neither is he. And so this trial is over, and it's been a dysfunctional display of crap with the crooked Biden family. Hunter Biden's sordid tale of drug addiction, pornography, and sex coming to the front and center of this gun trial. It's over, and he's been convicted now. But man, oh man, what came out during that trial about the Biden dysfunctional family and everything else is unbelievable. And at the end of the day, these guys looking even worse. Now he won't be convicted until we get to look at Tim Shapley's out here. Look, he's got his mobile chair. He's coming up in the window like he's coming up in an elevator. The crazy guy. But yeah, he won't get sentenced for at least 120 days. They have 120 days to do it, and at the end of the 120 days, well, he's going to get his charges where he's going to go to jail. He can go to jail on 10 counts on each charge, or another 5 years, like 10 years on each charge, or another 5 years on the third charge. So he can do a lot of time. We'll see what he gets, and they go like 120 days, which is 4 months. You count them down. June, July, August, September. That's going to be right before the election. Right before the election. So this has got to be weighing heavily on Joe. And we'll see if Joe comes out and he gives a statement about Hunter Biden, because he came out right away with Trump. He gave a big statement about convicted felon and everything else. We'll see if he does the same thing for his son and what he's going to have to say. But he's got to eat his words. I mean, he said nobody is above the law. He made the big point about it. And now those words are coming back to haunt him as his son gets 3 felony charges and could do 10 to 15 years in jail on them. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, imagine if he said, Hunter can't even complain, because you know what? When Trump was saying it was a rigged election, or not a rigged election, he said that too, but a rigged jury and a rigged court trial and everything else. Joe said, imagine that. He got convicted by a jury of 12 of his peers, and he's saying they're all liars and they're fixed. Well, Joe, here we go. Your son suffered the same fate. Be careful what you wish for, and karma can be a you know what. Okay, so I'm looking outside here now, and we see this chilly weather, and it's June. I mean, this is terrible. June the what? 11th today? June 11th, and it's 58 degrees out. I mean, this is insane. What happened to global warming and climate change? We are paying thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions and trillions of dollars to fight climate change because the Earth's warming. All the Arctic is going to melt, and we're going to be flooded out. Well, you know what? Joe Biden said, not Joe Biden, but the other clown, Al Gore said that in 1980. 10 years, we're going to be underwater. 10 years, Manhattan's going to be underwater. Well, you know what? They showed a picture of the Statue of Liberty from 1940, and they showed it yesterday. And you know what? The water hasn't gone up 1 inch. Very same height. Very same height on the cement base. They're full of baloney, and they're ripping us off. And here we are, global warming. And look at how cold it is out here. It's ridiculous out here. It's terrible for this time of year. I don't see any global warming. It's all a bunch of baloney. It's all grabbing money from you, like COVID, a bunch of scams, bunch of scamdemics, and it's all to get money from you. Because at the end of the day, we're not seeing any of that happen. It's not going to happen in our lifetime. Probably not in 4, 5, 6 gen. Who knows when? It could be 10,000 years before this all happens and screws everything up. Climate change is weather. That's all it is. They're trying to make it out for more than they are. But you know what? Here's what happens. It's all part of this big thing. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't care. Call me whatever you want. But at the end of the day, they're looking for 15-minute cities, right? COVID set the tone to have you stay home and work so you don't have to go out. And you couldn't go out. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do anything. Now Fauci is on trial too. He's under investigation because of the lies he told to force everybody to stay home and work and everything else, closing down businesses, closing down everybody. You couldn't go to see your family, couldn't go to see your dying parents, nothing because of this Fauci baloney. So now everybody's home. Everybody's at home, right? and they want to keep them in these 15-minute cities where everything's 15 minutes away, and they don't want you wandering out. Why? Because they have more control. When 100 million people or so in the United States went on these programs from the government, you can't go to work, you have to stay home. We're going to pay you to stay home. It just made everybody more dependent on government. It screwed up the work, screwed up the jobs, the small businesses. And now, these people, that's what they want to stay home and work. They don't want to go to work. A lot of people don't want to work. They want to get government handouts. And this is the start of all that. You don't have to go to your house to work. You stay home, you work on the internet. And COVID forced everybody to stay home. Basically, you couldn't go anywhere. They closed down restaurants, closed down entertainment, closed down churches, closed down everything. So ridiculous. But there was a method behind their madness. And global warming's the same thing. It's all the same thing. Get electric cars. You don't need cars to go more than 15 minutes from your house. As a matter of fact, you can't go more than 15 minutes from your house. We're putting up cameras. We're putting up radar. If you wander out of your zone, you have to report in. They know where you're going. They can shut off your car if they want to because it's electric. And it's all a big thing because everybody knows that electric cars are a bunch of baloney. And at the end of the day, what are they going to do with all these batteries? Where are they going to dispose of them? Cobalt and all these heavy metals. Where are they putting them? If everybody, 100 million people had electric cars in 10 years, those batteries got to go. What are they going to do with them? You talk about nuclear power, you talk about, gasoline and petroleum polluting everything. What's going to happen when these batteries go? What are they going to do with them? They pollute too. So it's all a big scheme. It's all big nonsense. It's to make you, break you, and force you to do what they want. But anyway, that's just a little thing about the weather, and it's cold outside, but who cares, right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We can stay home. Get our 15-minute cities. So last night I watched the Edmonton Oiler game, and the buzzsaw Florida Panthers. They're tough to beat. I mean, the Oilers took the lead in the game for a little while, and then Florida came back and spoiled their party with 3 unanswered goals and an empty netter to cap off a 4-1 win last night. The guys are on a mission. Seriously, these Florida guys are not going to be denied. They are going to win this thing. And, they took the top guns of Edmonton, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent Hopkins, totally off the board. I mean, they've only scored 1 goal in 2 games, Edmonton, right? And the big guys are totally off the board. And then Draisaitl, being so frustrated he couldn't take it anymore, he threw a dirty elbow right into the head of Barkov, the star player for Florida, which probably should have been a 5-minute major and a game suspension, and then go to the league to take a look at it. It was a headshot. So the league's going to look at it, but you know what? At the end of the day, they probably won't do anything because it's the playoffs and it's Draisaitl, and yeah, but they'll look at it for sure, but nothing else. Regardless, the Oil is desperate to win, and that's what starts happening. These guys don't know what to do. They can't win the game. They're being stymied. Their time and space is gone. So they go back to Edmonton now. 3 days in between the games, because at the end of the day, it's a 4,000-mile ride to get there, and time changes and everything else from Florida. So they're going to take 3 days between games, and they're going back to Edmonton for 2, and we'll see what happens. But it could be a short series. It could be a short series. So weird stuff going on there. But nobody, I don't know, everybody was hoping in Canada that Edmonton would win, a Canadian team for once. But at the end of the day, I just don't think they have it. I don't think Florida's going to be denied. So interesting, though. Great sports. If you're into sports, this game was a fantastic game, and just like the one before. Then the last 2 will be fantastic too. Canadians are going to be sad if Edmonton loses. This was their chance to bring the cup home. But man, oh man, the best team right now is Florida. So, I got some pictures from a buddy of mine who lives by the Ghetto Dome down on Kayla Road. And he showed me pictures of this big unit going in, and it was a generator, a big diesel generator, generate power for I guess the AC units in the summer and the heater in the winter. And Gale's gas bar fuels, Gale's fuel was there filling it up with diesel. And I'm going like, man, are you kidding me? They're going to have a generator out in front of this place, closer to the road, like that, facing the road. That's going to be running 24/7 to keep that place air conditioned and heated. And I feel bad for the neighbors. This buddy of mine lives across the street. And man, that generator, I don't know if you ever heard one of these generators. They call them whisper quiet, but they still drone. It's that constant. They don't make any big noises. They're not going to blow your eardrums out or anything. Like, it's not that, but it's just constant because it's going to be running all day. Now, would you want that in your front yard? You go sit in the front yard and you got to hear that. And the drone is a consistent, just hum. I don't know, man. I don't understand it. I think probably the residents are going to complain once this generator gets up and running, and it's constantly running. And we'll see how the ghetto dome goes. And then what'll probably happen is they'll say, well, unless you can hook us into city power, and then it's going to happen. The dome's never going to come down. Although they said it was a 1-year trial, and it's not going to be a trial. The dome's never coming down. Let's face it. City signed another contract with these guys. They okayed it. I don't know why. I think Councillor Patel and Lakoko said no. They didn't want to see that. But regardless of their vote, they were outvoted, and the dome's going to be up there all year, and that generator is going to be running. Going to be running all year as well. Beautiful. And it just makes you laugh because basically this new contract gives the Tennis Clubs of Canada carte blanche to open year round and charge residents. So yeah, you're going to have to be paying unless they want to play in the free hours designated by the club. So you heard that right. The club gets to decide when you can play, you, the taxpayer, who laid down the cash from your taxes to put in those tennis courts. Now we've lost control. They're controlled by Tennis Clubs of Canada. Your tax dollars at work. You can't play unless they say you can play. And they're going to tell you the times you can play. How does this happen? Why would city council do this? Well, I don't know. Don't ask me. It's wild, but this is, you know what? This is what you get when 27% of the people in this city get out and vote. This is what you get. This is what you get. Right? So enjoy. Book your time. Call up, book your time. Book your time. And you can't play if you don't book your time. The days of just walking over there with your tennis racket and a couple of balls and with your buddy and jumping on the courts and slapping the ball back and forth, they're gone. They're gone. City council signed them away. Maybe they should give us our money back that they paid for the tennis courts. Yeah, how about that? Give us our money back. We don't own them anymore. We don't control them anymore. You never hear that spoken at city council, I'll tell you that. You never hear that. Speaking of taxes, while we're on the subject here, did everybody get their tax bills? Yeah, well, they're out, and I got mine. And there was an $87 increase since my first two payments on per quarter. Not per quarter, sorry, for the next half. So 87 and 87, $176. So I figured $176 times two, because remember they didn't charge it to you for the first part. Times two, right? How much is that? 170 and 170 is 340 and 12 is 352. Divide that by 8, and you've got your new quarterly, which is probably around what, $45-50 a quarter. It went up. something like that. $3.52 a day, $30 times three. Yeah, but yeah, something like that. Anyway, you do the math. You do the math. We're getting clobbered. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's more than 3.9% the way I see it. But you know what? What do I know? I don't know. Like here we go. Pay your bill and shut up, right? And somebody's going to say, "Oh, it's only blah 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 a month. It's only this much a month." Right? That's what they tell you. It's only this for all the amenities. What a low price to pay for bad roads, shuttered buildings, and skid row looking streets. Yeah, this is a low price to pay. But you know what? We do have a new trail going in for anybody who wants to use the trails. Oh yeah, another $2 million and another 10 million on top of that eventually. Yep. I don't know. Does anybody else feel they're getting hosed here? I do. Yeah. So shut up, pay your bill, and go use the cricket court or the pickleball courts or the walking trail. Can you afford new shoes after this? To use on the walking trails? Nobody asked that question, did they? How good are walking trails if you don't have any shoes to walk on them? Yeah. Anyway, look at your tax bill and say, we get so much for that money in this city. We get so much because that's what we keep getting told. That's what we were told by Only Eight, Counselor Only Eight. It's only $8 a month for all the amenities we get. That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap. Yeah, sure. If I look disgusted, I am. Oh man. So what's with these unions and strikers? Well, the CBSA, the Canada Border Security Agency, or whatever it's called, is ready to go Friday at 4 p.m. if a deal isn't reached. That's all there is to it. They haven't reached a deal yet, and they're ready to go on strike if it isn't reached Friday at 4 p.m., right before the weekend, of course, always. So if you're planning to cross that border, you're ready for long waits coming home. Going over, you should be all right. They're not on strike on that way. They'll get you through. Coming back, you could have a long wait. Of course, being an essential service means that the workers can't just be told to go home. They can't just close the bridges. They can't just walk off their jobs. So what they do is they call this sort of work to rule thing they talk about, right? And what this work to rule thing does is they just go by the book. They check every car, look in the trunk, look in the back seats, ask all the questions. They do it right by the book, the way they're supposed to. And it takes 10 to 15 minutes a car, maybe. And you know what? Multiply that times the bridge lined up back in the United States and everything, and you got a 3 or 4 hour delay. And guess what? They don't care. They don't care. They're working to rule. They check every nook and cranny, send you into immigration, let them just sweat in there for a while, and then at the end of the day, they make life miserable for tourists and no locals alike. They use the bridge when enough people start complaining, i.e., the tourist operators. As people start staying away from the city, they're going, that bridge is such a pain to get over. I'm not going over the bridge. Stay away from it. Bad news travels fast. And finally, they'll get to Canada Day in July 4th, right? Middle of the week. People won't be able to get over here. It'll be a nightmare, and they're going to get their way. So they may even get their way before. I mean, they got everybody hostage. What are you going to do? And they want more money. More money. I mean, who doesn't want more money? I want more money. You want more money, right? Who doesn't? Well, if they want to be in line with law enforcement agencies using the RCMP wage guide chart as their guide, along with equitable retirement benefits. Geez, why not go for the same wages as MPs or MPPs get? Holy crap! They might as well get $150,000 a year and a nice little booster when they leave, and a pension that would choke Mr. Ed. You might as well go for the top. What the heck? Why not? It's only taxpayer money. What do we care, right? We pick up the tab. We always pick up the tab for these guys. But if you saw what they get when they retire, you would you'd take a look at your $1,200 from the government for your pension and just laugh. Well, these guys are getting, well, let me put it this way, lots. And MPs even get more lots. Yeah, they get lots. Now, the Niagara Parks Commission is ready to go after June 20th. So we got another strike going on. Not to be outdone. Not to be outdone by the CBSA, CSBA, whatever the heck it's called. The NPC is ready to go. The OPSU Local 217 extended the talks to June 20th. How nice. After that, they could go on strike. And of course, the only part of Niagara Falls that's kept clean and tidy with great gardens and landscape will become gnarly looking real fast. Give them about a month off and see what all that park looks like, overgrown with weeds and junk all over the place and litter. Yeah, they do a good job down there. They're self sufficient, so at least the taxpayers aren't going to be on the hook. But they want more money too. More money, more money, more money. And it won't accept a 4-year deal without significant wage increases. Do the seniors have a union that represents them that can go there and say, we want more money and everything else? I don't know. Is there a seniors union that OPSU, plus 69? Yeah, there's got to be a union for seniors because they don't get any of this stuff. They can't go on strike. But they want wage increases and benefits significant and improvements for part-time workers, of course, who pay it to the socialist pool. I mean, yep, yep. The unions, the unions, the unions. We don't have enough. We don't have enough on our plate as tax-paying citizens. The unions have to get their hands into the mix and give us the double whammy here. And then, of course, the Parks Commission calls it unfortunate timing. Unfortunate timing. Are you unfortunate, my ass? They planned this. This all planned by them. They know when to disrupt business in the falls at the busiest times. That's when they plan these strikes. We're going right into the first big major long weekend of the year. Canada, July 1st, the United States, July 4th. The big long weekends for both companies. Well, it's not a weekend this year, it's during the week. But they still take a couple days off, here and there. And it's always busy in the falls. Kids are out of school, and that's really the start of the real summer. So don't give me unfortunate timing. Everything's planned around these dates. They know when it's busy in Niagara Falls, and that's when they're going to hold you hostage. Oh yeah, so tourist industry, they're just sitting there going, "Oh man!" Like we just went through like 3 scam years of not being open and nobody coming into town, and you couldn't do it 6 feet away, and all the other baloney that went with it, masking and everything. Nobody could get into town. Everything closed down. We just went through that. We're starting to recover, and now these guys, of course, they're not going to have their contracts run out in COVID. Like the CBSA has been um, without a contract for 2 years. Why didn't they go on strike 2 years ago during COVID? During the summer when nobody was allowed to come to Niagara Falls. Why did they do that? No, they put it off for 2 years and waited until we got busy again. And then we can grab them by the left and right one and squeeze. That's what they do. You know what I mean? This is unfortunate timing. Give me a break. These guys, do they really expect us to believe this crap? These politicians and these executive directors and CEOs overpaid in the parks. I don't believe that. Does anybody believe that? Seriously, am I the only one that doesn't believe it? Maybe I am. It makes you go, Thanks to the great story from Ray Spateri of the Review, great writer, and he put that story in there about all this stuff. And yeah, there you go. So let's take a fly over to Welland. Beautiful, beautiful Welland. We love Welland, right? I mean, Welland's got the best city council. And they fight like crazy. The guys get thrown out. It's like the WWE over there, slobber knocker every meeting. But now the city has handed out $52,500 worth of fire code violations. Wow. I mean, that's some nice income right there, and definitely will help with safety and probably save lives. The city's fire prevention officers are committed to their jobs. Search out and find these owners who are not in compliance with fire codes and give them the big 1-2. Bang, boom, 8,000 buck fines. Give it to them. Send it right into city coffers. So I'm sitting here going, wow, what are we doing in Niagara Falls? We got $27 million we give to the fire department. Like, we've got a myriad of homeless shelters and decrepit eyesores they call buildings that are boarded up and aren't safe. So are they fire safe? I mean, they say, well, nobody's living in them. There are people living in them. Homeless always break the boards, break in and get the plywood off the windows or whatever and get in there and live in there. So there are people living in there, whether they're paying or not. But not only that, I mean, an empty building on Queen Street catches fire. Guess what? One on either side of it catch fire too, and one on either side of that catch fire, and one on either side of that, they could burn down the whole block. So if they're not compliant with fire safety, I mean, they don't have water running to them, they don't have sprinklers, especially unoccupied buildings. Why not fine the hell out of these guys? Hammer them. Why not? Go get some money for us. The old arena is definitely one place that's not only dangerous but a fire hazard. Can we not find the owners under the fire code? I mean, that's a dangerous building. Just from a safety point of view, they should tear it down. But if you can't get them, let's grab a couple bucks from them with the fire code and check all these buildings and see if they comply. And then start finding these absent owners. Make some money. You want money? Instead of grabbing it from the taxpayers, go find these guys that are leaving these buildings decrepit and make the city look like heck. Yeah, like I got a message from one of my roving reporters, because I have a bunch of them roaming around the city, and when they see something, they let me know for sure. Glow. And the America's Best Motel in Lundy's Lane next to Falls Banner was on fire, and that thing's all boarded up. The homeless keep breaking in, and with these cool temperatures, they start fires at night. And of course, it ignites the whole place. Now, why not find the owner of that building for safety codes and fire codes and everything else? So it looks like a win-win to me. Where are they? These fire guys going around? Come on. Get in those beautiful red trucks and go see what's going on at these places and find out who the owners are and give them fines until they either relinquish the buildings to the city, don't pay their taxes or whatever, and then we take them away and bulldoze them. If somebody came to me and said, "Listen, it's going to cost us $30,000 to bulldoze that old building," I'd rather spend that on that than pickle courts or ghetto domes or anything else. So come on, get this city cleaned up. And that's one way to do it, maybe. I don't know. I'm just looking for other angles because nobody seems to be doing anything about it. Nobody fixes our roads. Nobody takes care of these decrepit buildings. The absentee landlords or the owners, they don't give a rat's ass about them. So why not take action? Force them. What are they going to do? They're going to take you to court and say, no, I'm not paying you. Take them to court, get our collections. We got lawyers sitting on staff there. They have a in-camera meeting every week with lawyers. Surely they can work on some of these cases. Come on. Let's go. Get our priorities straight. Clean this town up. Never mind photo ops and all that. Get to work. Okay, let's go to our second. See how I calm down? I go to our sponsors. I love when I go to my sponsors. I calm down because it's all good news. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. You go into neighborhoods, you see these beautiful houses lit up, and you go, "Oh, where'd they get all these lights?" They must have spent a fortune on pot lights and everything else. No, 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 no. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting probably did it. They're the leader in outdoor decorative permanent lighting. And they had, their lights are permanent. They're up there. They put them up there on tracks and they match your existing colors on your house. So you don't even see them. They're invisible until they come on at night. And then everybody goes, wow, look at that. They're all safe. They're all dust proof, waterproof. They're not going to short out, and they're LED lighting, so they're not going to break the bank. They're not going to break the bank. They're LED lighting, very, very cheap on electricity, which is what we want today, right? The hydro rates are so high. Now you don't have to climb ladders to put your Christmas lights up anymore. You don't have to climb ladders to take them down. Excuse me. You don't have to break your neck. I got an itch on my nose. I'm not picking my nose. I didn't go for any picks on an itch. So yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that. And you know what? There's like a million different light combinations you run off your phone. I keep going like this, looking for my phone. It's over there, taking this video. But yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's all done. It's there. It's permanent. You want them orange for Halloween? Bang, they're orange. Want them green for St. Patrick's Day? Green. Red and green for Christmas? Red and green. They have different zones. White and red for Canada Day? Bang, you got it. All done, all installed, and you don't have to touch them. A 10-year warranty, and basically they come back once a year. They do a check on you. Ask us, everything all right? Is there anything you need? Can we come over and take a look at something for you? Is everything going right? So they make a point of following up. They don't just disappear on you. And along with the 10-year warranty comes financing. So if you want to be Clark Griswold and you want to light your house up like Christmas Vacation, hey, go ahead and do it. They have financing rather than plopping down a big wad of cash. You can pay monthly and make it affordable for your budget. And you can't ask for anything more. They're beautiful. Now, if you want to get a quote, and it's a free quote, by the way, you have to call Colin Buckborough at 289 969 1797. That's Colin Buckborough, 289 969 1797. And if you want to look at some of the different houses they've done in that, go to glowstonelighting.com. And it's just as it sounds, GLOWSTONELIGHTING, glowstonelighting.com. Yeah, check it out. I'm gonna check it out because I really like them. They look really fantastic when I see them. So remember this? We were talking about this maybe not. Well, I talk about it all the time, but they were talking about how they're going to crack down on auto theft. Auto theft is epidemic. We're cracking down. Operation this, operation that, project this. You know what? Well, the different programs that they name really haven't put a dent into the theft business. Yeah, they're stealing cars like crazy. The rings running the theft managed to steal 17 cars a day. They steal 17 cars a day in Brampton and Mississauga, despite the big announcement of a huge crackdown going on. Between May 8th and June 17th, May 8th and June 8th, so 1 month, 537 cars were stolen with just 8 cases being solved in the GTHA. And that represents only half of the total cars stolen each day because 17 is just in Mississauga and Brampton. There's 34, 35 a day. That's amazing. 35 cars a day being stolen. Statistics say a car stolen once every 5 minutes in Canada, and a 116% increase in stolen cars between the 2016 and 2013. Now, that's in the Hamilton GTA. It's escalated to that point. Beautiful money-making business. Now, even if your car wasn't stolen, the insurance companies are on the hook for $371 million of claims, meaning someone has to pay. And you know who has to pay? You. Ooh, me. Yeah, we have to pay. Our premiums go up. Somebody's got to pay. And the owners of the most stolen brands, they're the ones who have to pay higher premiums. That's right. Their premiums are $200 or $300 a year more. And of course, everyone else chips in with the higher insurance rates year after year. And this doesn't even include other factors such as safety. I mean, if you are carjacked, so if somebody comes up and carjacks your car like they did to Mitch Marner of the Leafs, and they have a weapon, and of course, you still have to make payments. You know that, right? On cars that you don't have in your possession. So somebody hooks your car and your payments due, you got to pay. And usually the insurance companies don't pay out a claim or anything else for it until 2 or 3 months later because they wait for it to be recovered and see if the cops can find it before they pay out the claim. They don't want to pay out the claim if you get your car back. So you pay for your car you don't even have in your possession. I guess one guy who has his Porsche stolen had thieves throw a stone through his front window, got into his house through the front window, and stole the keys to his Porsche. And guess what? He had to repair his window, repair this. He put a new, more secure garage door on his house. He put those pop up pylons, those ones that go into the ground and you hit a button and they rise up. He put those on the end of his driveway. So if when he goes to bed at night, he hits the button, they go up and nobody can take the car. It cost him like $50,000, and his house insurance went up as well because they broke the window, broke into his house, stole his car. And also, on the other end of that too, is if they do find your car, they tow it to a yard, police yard or whatever. They do the investigation. They call you a week later. Say, oh, by the way, we found your car. It's here. You owe us $2,000 for storage and towing and everything else. And also, while you don't have your car, you need a car. So you're hoping the cops find you. You go and you got to rent a car or something like that. And some insurance policies, they do cover rentals in this case, but they have limits, $1,000, 2,000, depending on how high your limit is. So you can be out money for that. And if you think if it's not recovered, you're all set. Well, no. The details of your insurance contract come into play. Details like what is the limit for rental coverage? Like we said, does your policy cover full replacement costs of a new vehicle? In the Porsche owner's case, like I say, he opted to do all this stuff. He had to fix his window and everything, so he had incurred about $35,000 of costs, and that's not including his insurance rates hikes on his car and house. I mean, the only real deterrent, let's face it, and I keep saying this week after week, is harsh penalties. You got to give people like 20 years for car theft. If they do it with a weapon, 25 to life. Can't fool around with it. The pain of the penalty has to outweigh the gain of the theft. These guys are making so much money, they don't care. They get caught. They've already got rid of maybe 20 cars at, $5,000 each, say. So there's $100,000 they made. They go to court, they get fined $1,000 for that. They don't get sent to jail or anything. They're back on the street the next day stealing cars. Why would they stop? Throw them in jail for 20 years, they might stop. And not only that, they might actually roll over and give you the names of the guys who are paying them. But they're not going to get rid of it unless they really hammer down on crime. And a lot of it's done by gangs, foreign gangs, offshore people who are, looking for ways to make money because they come to Canada and there's nothing. There's no good jobs. They can't make any money. And so they opt for a life of crime. They get sucked into it by people who are doing it and have these flashy cars and rings and watches and stuff, right? And at the end of the day, they get sucked into it. They steal a few cars. They're making good money. And if they get caught, they're back on the street anyway. And a lot of juveniles doing it too. They teach them how to steal these cars, and they're doing it, and they don't even get charged. They're juveniles. They can't even. Their names don't go down. It's all a joke. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, deport, detain, and incarcerate. DDI. That's the way to do it, and it's pretty simple, but not in liberal Canada. These guys, they're afraid. These guys go to court, call racism. They're always harassing me and everything. Cops know who they are. They can't stop them. They can't do anything. So it's a joke. And you can read about it and they can complain about it and say about how the crime's going up. But the bottom line is it's only going up for one reason, because these guys won't do anything about it. That's the bottom line. So south of the border, we talked about Hunter Biden's predicament. Now we're going to see what happens with him. See if Joe comes on at 1:15 to do the gun control legislation, and also give a speech about Hunter. Mention Hunter, because every reporter, you think they care about his gun control speech? Everybody's going to say, what do you think about the Hunter thing? And he won't say anything. He'll try to find his way off stage and then shuffle off. He won't say anything. But Trump continues on the campaign trail, taking a break yesterday to attend a video hearing by the parole board of New York for his He did it from his Mar-a-Lago home in Palm Beach, Florida. The hearing was a formality, a 30-minute question and answer where the defendant is given a chance to say why he deserves a lighter sentence along with any documentation to support the reasons. Could be letters of reference, could be anything. Could talk about his personal history and criminal record and other information. But I mean, a guy like Trump, he's been on every newspaper cover for since he was 18 years old. I mean, his life is pretty well an open book, warts and all. So I don't think there's many questions they can ask him, and that's basically why the meeting was only 30 minutes. That was it, 30-minute meeting. That was all, and yeah. But I think when it's all said and done, this little hearing here was just a formality. They have to do it. They probably didn't talk a lot about anything, but they can all this information, if they did get any, can be used for sentencing recommendations to the judge. The judge already has his mind made up anyway, right? We know that. They're weighing the consequences because I know the judge and everybody else wants to throw him in jail, make an example of him. Nobody's above the law. But you know what the bottom line is? Trump's hoping they throw him in jail. He's going to go right to jail. He ain't going to complain or anything. He'll turn himself in and go to jail because this makes him a martyr. This makes him a martyr for rights and freedoms and justice. You know how they railroaded him, and oh yeah, it's going to be so great for Trump. He's going to go up higher in the ratings. The best thing they could do is just say, you know what, here, probation. You get probation for it. That's it. It's going to be overturned anyway. So, but the Democrats wanted him to be convicted for one reason, so they could say convicted felon over and over and over again, because every day that's all you hear. And I wouldn't even doubt if Joe Biden can't do the debate. If he can't do it, he's not physically able to do it. He says, I have decided I do not want to debate a convicted felon. That's probably, if you don't do it, that's what will be the excuse. I don't want to give a convicted felon any room on the stage talking about being president of the United States. That's a perfect excuse. That's probably what you'll see if he can't make the post. And I don't think he's going to make it anyway. He just can't. He just can't. I mean, that Normandy ceremony he was at was a disgrace. Total disgrace. Yeah. And his son Hunter now, that's another thorn in his side. He's got to deal with that now. Of course, all the questions are going to be about that. So yeah, it's going to be wacky. But you know what? It's a good movie. It's going to make a good movie. Guaranteed Netflix. There's somebody's already looking at it. Yeah, I mean, Hunter Biden, son of a senator, vice president, and eventually president, using his father's position to extort money from world leaders, all the while smoking crack cocaine every 20 minutes. It's a story of bagging his dead brother's wife and getting her addicted to crack cocaine and making porno films with her, of him bagging a stripper and having a child with her, which his father, the president, would refuse to acknowledge, and tells the mother she couldn't use the Biden name. Of his sister that claims the president and her father, Creepy Joe, sexually abused her as a child. Of Hunter buying a gun and lying on the federal form, of going to jail, being convicted, going to jail, and what a dysfunctional family this is. And then Hunter claims it's all his father. His father made him do it to make money for the family. Made him go to Burisma and get an $83,000 a month job, not doing anything, and getting $3 million from the mayor of Russia, his wife, and getting money from China, all extorted, of course. So they're a mess. But the movie's going to be good. I'll watch it. It's going to be a very good movie. And here's something I don't know if anybody knows about this, but down in the Caribbean, where everybody's vacationing on beautiful islands and loving the weather, guess what? The Russians have ships and subs wandering around. Oh, yeah. Stopping in Cuba to unload who knows what, and then Venezuela. These ships contained Russian hypersonic missiles. Now, to put this in perspective, in 12 minutes, the Zircon missile could hit Washington from Cuba, and there's nothing the U.S. can do to stop it once it's launched. It travels at 9 times the speed of sound, Mach 9, and can carry nuclear weapons. To be blunt, these weapons on these ships could take the U.S. East Coast off the map. Yeah, in 12 minutes. The precision guided, they know where they're going once they're launched. And Biden, he's sitting there in the White House 12 minutes away from annihilation. So, pretty weird stuff. Hey, what happened here? Something just kicked in. Oh, wow, that was pretty wild. All of a sudden, everything just kicked in. Everything looks good. Nothing stopped, but all of a sudden the sound went up. Hey, that's pretty neat. Where they came from, I don't know. And guess what? My second channel just came on. I wasn't broadcasting in stereo. All of a sudden, there it is. That's why it went up. It didn't go up. I'm hearing it in both headphones now. Oh, coming to you live in stereo sound from the studios of 4680Q out of nowhere. She comes back. Well, the video doesn't affect it. You don't hear that. You hear the microphone from the camera, but yeah, that's pretty neat. Wow, it was like a rush to the head. But anyway, these Russians got these things running around with these Zircon missiles, supersonic, hypersonic missiles. They can take out the east coast of the United States. Nothing they can do to stop it. And if Russia decides they're going to fire them off, and it's tit for tat because Putin's in the same situation. He's sitting in his office, and guess what? In his office, 12 minutes away, are United States missiles. Now, they can be detected. They're not hypersonic, but guess what? They can still hit, and they're only about 12 minutes away. And it'd be very tough for Russia to stop it if the United States decides to fire. So we have a standoff, right? But now the difference is Putin has them in Cuba and in the Caribbean, which he never had before. So now there's that, the United States doesn't have that edge anymore, which they had before. And they also have them in Venezuela. So this isn't good. In 1962, I mean, they knew a ship was coming to Cuba with nuclear weapons on it. And they knew how far away it was, and they intercepted it and everything else that went on with that, right? But this time, my friends, they're already there. They're already there. So if Ukraine or United States marches into Russia, they get troops on the ground or whatever, and Russia decides they've had it, they could push a button and take care of business. Right? So he has a little bit of an upper hand here on this one, being so close and in there. And they also have a sub floating around there. So any miscue in Europe from any country, including the Ukraine, well, the Russians now are in a position to strike the U.S. at will. It's really strengthened Russia's hand in all this. Now, is all this meant to scare you? Yes, it is meant to scare you. Of course it is. This is a real thing. It could happen. They're not joking around here, They're not joking around. It's meant to scare you. Biden's looking for a fight, and he's getting it from around the world. This guy has to go in order to be restored in peace. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on. And is it meant to scare you? Of course it is. Of course it is. The world's never been this close. I mean, even with that 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the doomsday clock wasn't as close as it is now because you have a lot of skirmishes going around between people who have nuclear weapons. And that includes China and Taiwan and North Korea and the United States and Israel. They may not say they have them, but they do. And if all these Arab countries decide to rain down on Israel, guess what? They might just launch one. So, we're in a precarious situation in this era here, in this little skirmish since Biden became president. It's not getting any better. So is all that meant to scare you? Hopefully, yes. And hopefully you take your political leaders to task and make sure that you get the right people in there to stop all this nonsense. And in Canada, well, we don't worry about that. They have no say in anything. We don't have anything. They're not going to attack us. We're of no consequence. Once the United States is out of the way, Canada's out of the way. Let's face it. So what Trudeau does or doesn't do, nobody pays attention to him. I don't even pay attention to politics. Why bother? Why bother? You tell people it's a communist country, it's going to be socialist. They laugh at you. They tell you you're imagining it. Oh, you're imagining it. What freedoms have they taken away? You know what? I'm not even going to bother telling people. You know why? Because it isn't worth it. If they don't know at this point, then who's going to tell them? Why bother telling them? They're oblivious. They're oblivious. They don't care. They're just oblivious. They take one thing. I mean, if you don't see the trucker strike and peaceful protesters getting arrested and held for 800, 900 days and their bank accounts frozen and everything else, then you aren't paying attention to what freedoms you're losing slowly, slowly. Oh, yeah, it's the insidious creep. A little bit here, a little bit there. COVID was all about freedoms. They told you couldn't go out, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. If you don't get vaccinated, you lose your job. If you don't get vaccinated, you can't go to restaurants and eat. If you don't get vaccinated, you can't travel. You think they didn't take away any of our freedoms? And you know what? They could do this again tomorrow. So you don't think you've lost your freedoms? Think again. Think again. You've lost a lot of them. They closed down the bridge. Couldn't go over the bridge. You needed your papers, your vaccination papers, ride can, had to fill it out. Where are you? Where are you going? What are you doing? Stay in your 15-minute city. And they didn't take away any of our freedoms? Yeah, okay. If you believe that, I got some swampland in Florida that would make a beautiful house for me. And believe me, I've cleaned out all of the crocodigators. And yeah, it's just beautiful land. All you have to do is just build your house on stilts. You got it made. So tomorrow, what do we got? Absolutely coming in tomorrow. John Philly on my co-host will be in. We're going to talk all Habs, all show, and I do believe Drew Deeks will be in, and he's going to be filming the whole thing and everything else. And of course, you got to watch this show on YouTube. I put these videos on YouTube. If you missed the show during the day, you can watch it at night on video. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up, a like on YouTube for the video, and hit the notification so when I put another one up there, it dings your phone and you can go look at it. And that's for those of you who don't go to 4680Q Radio and listen to the podcast, because the podcast is up there too. For you audiophiles who would rather listen to it than watch it and do other stuff while you're listening, hey, there you go. But it's on there too. Thursday, Chris Regas. I'm hoping he comes in, Chris. We have another secret word Thursday. I think this will be the last one for a while. We'll see. So you want to get in on that? All you have to do is listen in on Thursday. I'm going to give a secret word. When you hear the secret word, go to Your City, Your Voice on Facebook. The Your City, Your Voice page on Facebook. It might be Your City Your Voice. Check it out. Go there. Message me. The fifth person who messages me the secret word, they get the certificate. And who was it last week? I think it was John Ringo Beam last week that won it. I think. No, Laurie Parliament won it 1 week. Was Laurie last week maybe? And Gary Wilkins? And Gary Wilkins, what a great guy. He gets the gift certificate, gives it to Laurie for a concert series in Chippewa, and they're going to give it away in their raffles and that. So way to pass it forward. Gary Wilkins, good for you and Laurie. She's so good doing all this stuff. And of course, Friday is Mr. Golf. Paul Vickery, Mr. Golf is coming on by phone. So I don't know how I'm going to do a video with a phone. I can't do it. I guess I'm just going to have to do the audio one. No video on Friday because I'm going to be talking to him and you're not going to be able to hear him if I'm talking to him. So the video won't really do anything. You'll see one side of the conversation. Unless I can hook a set of headphones around my microphone or something. I don't know. But yeah, I probably won't do a video. We'll just do audio with Mr. Golf. And we're going to take a look at the U.S. Open, who the favorites are, who's up and coming, who the dark horses are. If you want to bet, you throw a couple shekels on that, and you can make some money. Other than that, that works out. There's the week. Shot again towards the end of the week. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Canada, as always, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for watching the video and giving us the like, giving us the thumbs up. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Absolutely All Habs All Show. For you hockey fans who like the Habs, that's the show you want to tune into. That's the show you want to watch. And you're going to find out what's going on in Habsland. June 28th is the NHL Draft, where we get to pick fifth, the Habs, and we find out where all the players are going as well. And here's where I'm in trouble because I'm torn. Trump-Biden debate, NHL Draft. Which one's more important to me? I got to decide what I want to watch. Maybe the draft will be over by the time Biden and Trump start debating, although Biden's bedtime is like 8 o'clock, so I don't know when they're going to have this. Can he stay awake past 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? I don't know. We're going to find out. Have a great day, everybody. I would say enjoy the weather, but it's not that great out that you can enjoy it. We'll talk to you later. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.